Hello and welcome to Roadcraft, the place for anyone who wants to be a smarter, better, and safer driver. In this episode, do you know what the legal limit is for impaired driving? What if I told you there isn't one? Don't believe me? Stick around and I'll explain it. It's time for a Latin lesson. No, I don't know Latin, except for a few words used in the law. And by the way, whose idea was it to use a language native to no one alive today to communicate critical legal information? Okay, you've probably heard that the legal limit in Washington for impaired driving is a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08. That's an important number, but calling it a legal limit implies that driving with a blood alcohol concentration below that amount is legal. And that's just not true. It's more accurately called a per se limit. Now there's that Latin. Per se means by itself or inherently. When you see per se in the law, it's letting you know that something is true without further evidence. When someone has a blood alcohol level of 0.08, we know they're impaired. There's been so much research and science in the study of alcohol impairment that we don't need more evidence. If that person is driving, their blood alcohol level is sufficient evidence of guilt. But alcohol begins to affect us long before we reach a BAC of 0.08. Researchers have tested drivers at BAC levels starting at 0.02 and found that there is no level that doesn't affect driving. In case you're wondering, those tests were in a simulator, not on the road, because that would be irresponsible. At a 0.02, we have some loss of judgment, a decline in visual tracking, and a harder time staying focused. At 0.05, we experience reduced coordination, lower alertness, difficulty steering, poor judgment, and delayed response to emergency driving situations. Drivers with a BAC level between 0.05 and 0.079 have a crash risk 7 times greater than a driver with no alcohol in their system. The law says a person is guilty of impaired driving if they drive a car while under the influence or affected by intoxicating liquor, cannabis, or any other drug. When there's evidence of impairment, things like weaving over the fog line, handing the officer their grocery store rewards card when asked for their driver license, and stumbling through sobriety tests, a driver can be arrested for impaired driving with a BAC level well below 0.08. In much of the world, per se levels are 0.05 or lower. In the US, each state sets their own limit. The National Transportation Safety Board has been recommending for over a decade that states set a per se limit of 0.05. So far, only Utah has followed that recommendation. After lowering their per se limit, crashes involving drivers with a BAC above 0.05 decreased 15%. The takeaways here are: 1, the per se limit is an evidentiary limit, not a hard line separating the sober from the impaired. And 2, no matter what the per se limit, there's no safe level of impairment when driving.